Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video back on Bitcoin. The worst should be behind us with the historically weak month of September in the books, and the rest of the months in the year being pretty good for Bitcoin. But before we jump into that type of stuff, we'll just quickly look at the chart here. You can see we have broken out of the downtrend with a massive candle pump that just went all the way back into these levels between 47k and 49k. So obviously these are levels we're going to be looking at. We're going to be seeing how it interacts in here, hopefully staying above this 47,000 level and breaking above. Obviously we want to get above 50 to be honest, but 49 is the big resistance here. But the best news is breaking out of this downtrend. We're not in this anymore. It's very tough to try and be bearish. Even when you look at this, we have established a higher high than this massive down candle. So we are looking a little bit better in the charts here. Obviously, this section was a little bit of weakness. It was daring to look to go a little bit lower, but we've flashed out all the way into this strength zone here. You can see I boldened the lines because it just seems like a very strong place where, it's hard to get above 49k here. But we're reaching the last levels of resistance here for, this stuff before we try and get to about 62,000-ish. That's going to be like the next range of resistance. Just kind of eyeballing it out. Maybe, 59, 60k around here. But it's going to be free flow here. There's nothing after getting above 50,500 roughly to where we are looking to get back up to new all-time highs. And some good data for the market and things that I pretty much like to see is we're seeing these longs trending down. The shorts have actually skyrocketed up, which is weird because you can see this right here. You see this was a massive drawdown here to a big pump, which is weird to see that a giant pump followed that. But it was this right here, $47 million worth of Bitcoin shorts liquidated in just 1 hour. And say hello to Shocktober. We're in Shocktober. The supply shock is coming. The on-chain stuff points to it. And the best thing about all of this stuff going on is the longs trending down. So with this, we have more ability to be volatile with longs trending down. You see a huge dip in longs here, and it's just continued trending down. I don't mind seeing that because it just allows for the price to dip down. If we went from right now roughly 48,000 down to 46 and there was a lot of longs, those would get triggered, liquidated. That would push the price down further, and then shorts would start piling on. That could push it even more. But with longs not here, you could see volatility from 48 to 46 and then that not trigger anything, and being a buying opportunity for a lot of people, see it skyrocket right back to 48. So low longs is good. About 40k is where we've been at for a while now. So it's a pretty comfortable level, I think. The shorts, I think it's just weird to see it trending up like that. So we could get a short squeeze. Maybe that's what gets us to rifle above 50k in the short term. And I mean, if things go like that, if we can get above 50k here, even 50,500, you see it's just there's nothing here. I'd even put a line right about here. Let's just estimate it about 60,000. So that would be the next resistance. So a short squeeze above 50k, getting us in this free range of where it's just no resistance till 60k, basically pushing all-time highs. I like that situation. And in big news for the U.S. and Bitcoin and regulation status and like uncertainty around it is like Michael Saylor tweets right here saying the United States has no intention to ban Bitcoin. This was Jerome Powell, federal chairman, talking to people in Congress, I believe. I could be wrong. But talking to them, and there was a question asking, do you plan on banning Bitcoin, banning crypto? And the answer was no.
We're asked about CBDC, or the central bank digital currencies, and their impact on stablecoin and other cryptocurrencies. And you stated, and I think I quote you correctly here, You wouldn't need stable coins. You wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital U.S. currency. So, Mr. Chairman, as a matter of policy, is it your intention to ban or limit the use of cryptocurrencies like we're seeing in China?
No, and I immediately realized I had misspoken there. I didn't mean that take the word cryptocurrency out of that sentence, and I would say it's fairly widely understood that central bank digital currencies could perform could make
but no intention to ban.
Less.
No intention to ban.
No intention to ban them, but they're, the stable coins are like money market funds. They're like bank deposits, but they're to some extent outside the regulatory perimeter, and it's appropriate that they be regulated. Same activity, same regulation.
So from this video alone, that gives a little bit more certainty to Bitcoin and people involved in it, saying like no intention to ban it, to do anything ridiculous with it. But what you can take away from this is a intent possibly to heavily regulate stablecoins, saying they provide a use case like banks and like things that are regulated of that nature. So that's something you could take away from this is stable coins and some other cryptos I'm sure are in the sights of like big regulation, but not banning or taking anything out on Bitcoin and crypto in general is a good take for this. And of course, we've got the hash rate. Got to take a look at the hash rate. Still nice recovery. Obviously, we want to see probably the 152 here would be the next big level to kind of get back to before this massive drop. And then obviously new time highs. A lot of correlation with price here. We lost it maybe a little bit in this section, but at the same time, Bitcoin was very volatile, hitting 40K, I think it was 4 or 5 times and getting bought up into this almost 48,000 now. So it's been pretty good correlation, a good way to kind of look at it, and it just looks in great recovery mode. We probably will see new all-time highs in hash rate relatively soon, and that could point to a price in Bitcoin as well. Just bringing more hash rate onto the network brings more value to Bitcoin, and a lot of the times the hash rate and price correlate together. So new all-time high hash rate could probably point to new all-time high in Bitcoin price. And this right here is a timetable of returns for Bitcoin. So obviously something a lot of people look at to look historically and stuff. So we see September, it's not filled in for this month. It was negative. I don't know the exact number, but it was a red month. And you can see the history of September, very weak. This was to be expected. I think that's why we saw a lot of buying when Bitcoin prices went down low, like 40K, 39K, I think it was at some point. When Bitcoin price went that low, we saw heavy buying because people expected September to be weak. It was weak in the stock market as well, down 5% in the stock market, the worst month since March 2020, which is kind of crazy to think about, but a nice expected red month. Nothing crazy happened. So we look into October, November, December, and October, November, you can see clearly green months. If you take all 3 months combined, very, very green. If you look at them individually, October only has 2 red times in the last 7 years, because it has that. So 7 years. So 7 years, only 2 are red, 2 out of 7. That's pretty good. Same thing for November, 2 out of 7. That's really good. In December, it gets about half and half. So we'll see how December plays out if you look historically. But there's no real sediment on December of being a bad month. So it could be weird for tax season and people selling for taxes. That's when we see a lot of a downturn in December's. A lot of times could be due to people selling for tax purposes for the end of the year or something like that. But with Bitcoin being massively up, maybe we don't see that and it could be a green month. So the last 3 months in the year looking very good, very bullish for just looking historically. They're very majority green. So a lot of people going into that with that mentality. And then to end the video off with Plan B, talking about his predictions on a fundamental reason. So it wasn't based off his stock to flow model, which he is known for, but it is these predictions right here. We can see right here. We can see this was June 20th. He put this out. But worst case scenario for 2021 is August 47K, September 43, October 63, November 98, December 135,000. And you fast forward, and August he got right. It was 47K. September we ended the month around 43K. So now his next predictions on a fundamental basis would be October 63K, November 98K, and December 135K. We'll see if he gets it right. I think this is very reasonable for the end of the year, and I've been very vocal about I think a super cycle is about to happen, not meaning Bitcoin goes straight to $1 million in 2022, but more like we don't see an 80% correction, 50% correction into a bear market until the next halving. I think adoption is just getting way too high to see massive bear markets like that in the past. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Bullish on Bitcoin. I think it looks great. And the only thing that you could have been bearish about before was the chart, which now looks to be breaking, maybe a little bit bullish. So it's going to be hard for the bears to come up with situations to sell their narrative of being wrong about Bitcoin yet again. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next video.